Broncos have fallen off some, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? Last year, talking about salary cap health, the Broncos had the number one position, but PFF did an article and Bob Morris did a really good job of summing it up and summarizing for us on milehighhuddle.com, where the Broncos, where their salary cap health was on a 3-year analysis, not just, hey, I can look and see how much room you have for this year, but what's it look like down the road? And it had the Denver Broncos ranking 13th. From first last year. Why the fall, and is that any reason for concern?
A lot of dead money, first of all, from the previous regime. A lot of bad contracts. I believe it was last season, the season before, they were still paying off Case Keenum. And then last year, they were still paying off Juwan James. So the fact that Elway left Peyton with a bit of a mess on his hands didn't help matters. But I think 13th is relatively good considering the highly paid contracts they've shelled out, considering what they'll have to do with Russell Wilson. George Payton has shown that he's a stickler when it comes to contracts. He likes to get the best value. And I think that number, Scott, will change. They'll rise higher, maybe to 10th or 9th, 8th, whatever, because Peyton has shown to be frugal and he'll get his guy at his value. He showed that not once, but twice. 2 different receivers, 2 below market level contracts in Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick. So 13th is an arbitrary number as far as I'm concerned. It's also a projection based on what PFF and everyone else is trying to calculate. But Peyton has come in and cleaned up a lot of what John Elway left behind. A lot of what he left behind was bad contracts, bad salaries.
I actually feel like, comparatively speaking, again, looking at some of the rest of the league, that the Broncos were in decent shape from a cap position. But part of that, to be fair, was because they kept missing on quarterbacks. The reason why you were, even with some bad contracts, why you weren't in cap hell is because you didn't have a $30 million quarterback. That's where all that money goes out the window and the salary cap starts to hurt you a little bit. Guess what you're going to have next year? Guess what you've got coming, what you've got on the books now? You've got a very expensive quarterback. And that's part of the reason for things to go down. Oh, well, okay. I need that quarterback. If you've got a cost-controlled rookie who's playing at a high level, that's one thing. But, most contending teams have a high dollar quarterback on their salary cap.